Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I want to talk about one of the coolest things in the new Battlefield Hardline beta, and that is the vehicles. Right now I'm going on a kill rampage with the armored SUV. At first glance this appears like a normal transport truck, nothing too special about it, except when you switch to the secondary seat you have a pop-out minigun that is armored on the side. So basically whatever you're looking at can shoot you, but if somebody sneaks up on your side, you are going to have a bit of armor to prevent any direct shots. It's a lot of fun to play with, and as you can see, it absolutely tears through infantry. It also does great damage to lightly armored vehicles, not so great against air vehicles, but you know what, that I think is to sort of just balance out the fact that this isn't supposed to be an AA tank. You'll notice when you pop into just about any vehicle that the handling, acceleration, everything about it feels a bit more realistic, a little bit more slick, and this is due to a redesigned vehicle engine, and I gotta say the effort put into this really does pay off. I have tons of fun zipping around the map in police cruisers and muscle cars, running people over and making tight turns. The ability to shoot out of a car while you're riding in the passenger seat is extremely cool. The bullet effects on the windows as people are trying to shoot you out of the car, they damage very realistically, and it's really cool to watch your windshield get shot out as you're driving directly towards some enemies. Road killing has really turned into a very viable tactic, especially when you have something with a bit more armor. Using the mobile command post, which is essentially an armored truck, it can really take a beating. I was able to drive through so many enemy barricades, just run players over, and unless they got an RPG, there isn't a lot they can do to stop you. Because it's a heavier vehicle, you also possess the ability to push smaller vehicles like cars out of the way, and you can really push them out of the way and push through objects to actually get to the enemies that you want to run over, rather than just getting hung up and stopped on any tiny object you run into. This actually enhances the feeling of realism when you're driving a car around the city. No longer do you feel like a small trash can is going to stop you in your place. You're actually just going to barrel through small obstacles and get the road kills that you're looking for. And aside from being a really mobile, really well armored vehicle, the mobile command post also serves as a spawn beacon for your team. Although I was having just way too much fun mowing people down with this thing than to actually use it in any sort of tactical manner. Now, a Battlefield game would not be complete without air vehicles. Fortunately, we don't see lots of jets and bombers and AC-130s in this game, but more along the lines of lightly armored helicopters that can actually be taken down with small arms fire. The helicopters handle nicely, although maybe a little bit more sluggish than their previous scout helicopter counterparts from Battlefield 4. I like this. They don't have miniguns anymore, they have machine guns, which are very good, but not quite as good as before, and again, this is a good addition. Copy and pasting a scout helicopter into this game would be bad news for everyone. There isn't quite as much in the way of anti-air. Stingers made it back into the game, but there aren't any anti-air tanks that I have seen so far, which I think is a good idea. So just having air vehicles that aren't quite as overpowered as they were before is a nice way to sort of balance out the fact that you don't have dedicated vehicles for shooting them down. Now, the lock-on missiles from rogue helicopters do extreme damage. In fact, it seems like you only need two to completely destroy another rogue helicopter. There's plenty of time to balance out this game, but that would certainly be one of the first things that I change in terms of weapon balance. What's interesting about the rogue helicopter is that it does feel in many ways like a scout helicopter, except it does have a secondary gunner seat, which has a minigun available to it, which is very useful for taking out other aircraft and infantry on the ground. It's not that powerful, so it won't be very effective against heavily armored targets, but for infantry and lightly armored things, it is certainly more than enough. Now, this next vehicle that I want to show you has probably one of the tamest names versus what it can actually do on the battlefield. It's called an armored rescue vehicle. Now, when you hear that, you might think, you know, an ambulance with a little extra armor on it for wartime situations. No, this thing can rip people apart with a 6-round grenade launcher, a secondary machine gun, and then a secondary seat, which also has another machine gun on it. It's heavily armored, it's very fast, and it can absolutely decimate anything you run into, whether it's armor or infantry or even air. And one particularly great thing about it is that Visceral has only put one of these in the Blood Money game mode. It's not even in the Heist game mode, as it probably would have been a little bit too powerful for the close quarter combat that occurs in that specific game mode. In Blood Money it's a little bit more open, so you can afford to have one of these things, but it's really nice having only one really heavy vehicle per side per round, as opposed to having full-on armored warfare of 3 to 4 gigantic tanks just slugging it out. So overall, I have to say I'm really pleased with the vehicle implementation in Battlefield Hardline. Not only do the vehicles look really cool, they handle really well, they're a lot of fun to get road kills with, but Visceral has also shown a lot of restraint with the quantity of high-powered vehicles that they put in the game. There's only one Bearcat per team in this, the rest is pretty much transport vehicles. An armored SUV is pretty powerful as well, but again, nothing is going to be so overpowered that infantry are just not going to be able to deal with it, or one really good driver is going to be able to tear up the entire map on their own. So I'm just loving it in general. Certainly there's a little bit of tweaking that can be done here and there. Then again, we're 5 months out from an actual full launch, and that gives us plenty of time to give feedback on the game, tell the devs what we're liking, what we're not liking, and see those changes being implemented before the final launch of the game. Let me know what you guys think about the new vehicles in Battlefield Hardline. As always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.